Well, just wanted to talk about how things have changed a little bit with Coach Jasper being out. And first and foremost,
Right.
I know as a colleague that's a tough thing, and I
Yeah.
know you have children and would understand how
Right.
difficult that is.
Well, I think that's probably the biggest thing. We've been here together a long time, and he's a close friend, and we've got to know his family. And certainly, our number one focus and priority is the health of Jaron, and I know he's got to be there, and
Right.
it's just a reality of it. So we're praying for him, and we talk to him daily, and obviously praying that things will work out.
On that note, I mean, there's some coaches that think football is everything and might not let a guy take indefinite period of time off. But is that something that speaks to Coach Nehemiah and where his priorities are?
You know him well. We all do. He's the best head coach in the country. That's why nobody leaves. I mean,
Right.
I think it just says everything you need to know about him.
Right. So how have things changed for you? I know that you're kind of trying to fill in for Coach Jasper's role, and it's a little bit bigger picture. Can you kind of tell us a little bit how this has changed for you in terms of what you do each practice?
Right. Obviously, we all have big shoes to fill when we lose somebody like Ivan, who's best option, probably coordinator that's maybe ever been. I mean, it's just the reality of it. So we've been together for a long time. So really, it's a group effort. I'm not. My role hasn't changed a whole lot. We sit in the staff meeting together and we come up with the practice script. We all kind of fill in and help out where we need to help out. So it's really a group effort. My role hadn't changed. And what we've talked about is, so Ivan's not here. Obviously, Coach Nehemiah's a great resource as an
Right.
offensive
He's
coach.
been around.
And he's been around a little bit, so he's helping us. But what we can't do is we all do have to step up our game. We all have to do a few things extra, but we can't neglect our roles either. Because
Right.
there's
Well, I
five
was gonna
offensive
get to
linemen
that.
that are going
Right.
to line up against FAU that have to be ready to play. So we're trying to do it together. And
Right.
we've all been together so long. I wouldn't say it's been seamless, but we've all just stepped up and done what we need to do.
Well, that was kind of what I was going to ask you. If you're having a little more big picture during certain drills, that leaves Bryce with the offensive line, and Bryce is new to coaching that position.
Right.
I mean, are there times when Bryce has to kind of take control of the line?
What we've tried to do is collaboratively work together in the staff room, and we come out to the field. We try to do what we've been doing. Obviously, Mike's working with the quarterbacks more closely, and Coach Nehemiah's stepping in, and the quarterback-fullback position kind of naturally goes together. So out on the field, for the most part, I'm trying to just do my job and work with the offensive line.
Right. If this continues and we get into game plan, because that's one thing Coach Nehemiah said, we're not into game plan yet, but do you feel comfortable if you have to prepare the game plan? And
I'll do whatever Coach asks me to do, and I feel confident doing that. And it won't be me preparing the game plan. It'd be a collaborative effort, like it always is. But what we're trying to do right now is we had an installation schedule that we set out before camp started, and we're trying to stay point on exactly
Right.
the way we set it up, the way Ivan had it set up before he left, and we're trying to keep things as normal as we can and make sure everything's installed, all the situations are covered. So we're going forward just like we would if he were here, as best we can.
right. So are you communicating with Ivan, or are you just trying to leave him be?
We're communicating with him, but we're not talking football with Ivan. We're letting
Right.
Ivan tend to what matters most right now.
So I found out something today that I did not know, that you played quarterback in college. Tell us a little about your days as a college quarterback.
I was fortunate to play in a similar system. Conceptually it's the same, but terminology was all different up at Springfield College in Western Mass under Mike DeLong, and then Mike Sarasula was our offensive coordinator. So we had some
But it was
familiarity.
option-based?
Yeah, we were triple option based. It was all the same plays. We just called them differently, communicated some things a little
Was
bit
it
differently.
double slots? Or
Yep, double slots, the same. We were a Paul Johnson
Really?
discipled team.
Okay.
A lot of the similar characteristics. Like I said, we just called things differently.
All right. Well, that leads into my next question about having to step in for Coach Jasper and working with the quarterbacks. You have some experience. You're not doing this coming out into this cold.
Right. We've all been around each other for 9-10 years now. So, Coach Jasper and I have worked closely almost every practice. I don't know if there's been a practice that we haven't had individual time together. The quarterbacks and the B-backs have to be on the same page with what we do. So, from that standpoint, we've always been working together. I've picked up some of his characteristics, some of the terminology that he uses. Really clarifies some of the things we're asking the quarterbacks and the B-backs to do. So we're just trying to keep that moving forward.
So how are you dividing your time? Because this is a little bit double duty. You don't want to ignore your fullbacks who need work,
Right.
but you're trying to work with the quarterbacks as well. How are you working that out during a practice?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, today in practice, all of our individual time was together.
Fullbacks and quarterbacks.
Fullbacks and quarterbacks,
I see what
whether
you're
we're
saying.
working
Okay.
on the inside game or working some perimeter stuff. I mean, the fullback is so tied into what the quarterback is doing. I mean, Coach Jasper and I were standing next to each other a lot during practice.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
And so, I mean, there was one period today where Coach Niemot took the quarterbacks during the one-on-one routes, and I was able to take the fullbacks and do some pass protection stuff with inside linebackers. But other than that, we're all together. Team option, we're all together. Inside run, we're all together. Team play action, we're meshing together. So, I mean, before I was here, they used to meet together, and now we're just going to meet together now. So, you know, the job doesn't really change. We still got to get the fullbacks ready. Just got to make sure we get the quarterbacks continue to progress. And like Coach Ingram was saying, we're all kind of just chipping in, and everybody takes a little bit bigger piece of the pie, and eventually we'll still have the whole thing covered.
Actually, somebody said that there was a time when Navy had assistant that coached both quarterbacks and fullbacks. Who was that? Was it Ivan at one point?
I think Coach Jasper had it at one point.
He took both positions?
Yeah.
Right, so this isn't actually that rare.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I believe that's how they do it down at Tech. I don't know for sure, but I
Right.
know guys down at the Citadel, they have the same issue. They have a quarterback, B-back coach combined. So, you know, they meet together. We got to be on the same page, whether it's midline, triple, zone option. We all got to be on the same page. So meeting together is not that big of a deal.
Right. Well, obviously, some fans are concerned that this is such an important camp for Zach Abey to get developed, and Ivan is the Yoda of developing option quarterbacks, and that's something that's hard to replicate. I mean, I guess you just do the best you can to try to help Zach along. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Ivan's the best, and we all know that. I mean, I think Coach Niemot's said that a number of times. I mean, Ivan is the best option quarterback coach there is in the country, and we're just trying to facilitate the development of Zach. So we're all chipping in. Coach Niemot's chipping in. Coach Ingram's chipping in. Myself, everybody's just trying to step up and try and fill that void that Ivan's leaving right now. But you know, we're gonna be okay. We're going to be okay. We've been doing this thing for a long time, so we just got to keep plugging away one day at a time, put one good rep on top of the next good rep. Next thing you know, we're having a good practice. Then the challenge is putting two good practices together. So that's all we're thinking about in the quarterback feedback room right now is just putting a good practice on top of another good practice leading up to the first game.